In the interior of Brazil, there is a legend that refuses to die. A creature that walks on two legs, but is definitely not human.
Tonight, we investigated Real or Not.
In the remote countryside of Goiás, Brazil, strange events have long been whispered among rural families, but one particular night would turn those whispers into terror for a farmer and his son. It was a moonless night in late August. The wind moved slowly, and the farm was silent until the screams began. The farmer, known locally as Ricardo, was inside his small wooden house when he heard the unmistakable sound of animals crying out in fear. Chickens, pigs, all at once, like something was attacking them. At first, he thought it might be a wild dog, or maybe a jaguar from the nearby forest. But what he would see that night defied any explanation. Ricardo grabbed his flashlight and his old shotgun. His teenage son Lucas insisted on going with him. They stepped out into the darkness, guided only by the dim light of the lantern and the fading cries of the animals. "Stay close," Ricardo whispered. The ground was wet from the rain earlier that evening. Every step they took made a soft squelch in the mud. The air was heavy, damp, and cold. As they neared the pigsty, the noise stopped. No squeals, no movement, just silence. Ricardo slowly lifted the flashlight, the beam cutting through the mist that hung low over the ground. Then they saw it. A tall, hunched creature, standing on two legs beside the wooden fence. It was covered in dark, tangled fur, its arms long and powerful, ending in sharp claws. For a second, it looked almost human until it moved. Its body twisted and shifted with an unnatural speed. The creature's head turned toward them, revealing a long, canine-like muzzle. When the beam of light caught its face, its eyes glowed bright yellow. Lucas gasped and stumbled backward. "Dad, what is that?" he whispered. The creature growled, a deep rumbling sound that vibrated in their chests. Then, in a blur of motion, it darted toward the forest. It ran fast, too fast, its movements jerky, both human and animal at the same time. Ricardo raised his shotgun, fired once, but hit nothing. The creature disappeared into the trees, leaving behind only silence and the smell of wet fur and blood. For several minutes, neither father nor son spoke. When they finally returned to the house, Lucas couldn't stop shaking. "It wasn't an animal," he said. "It walked like us." Ricardo didn't answer. He only locked the door and kept his shotgun beside him until dawn. When morning came, Ricardo and Lucas went back to the pigsty. What they found was worse than they expected. 3 pigs were dead, their bodies torn open by something with claws far larger than any known animal in the region. Deep bite marks covered their necks and backs. The wooden fence had been ripped apart, not chewed, but shredded, as if by enormous hands. Ricardo knew every creature that roamed those lands, from jaguars to wild boars, but nothing could do this. That morning, the neighbors came to see what had happened. They shook their heads, muttering prayers under their breath. One of the older farmers mentioned that decades ago, there were stories of something called bicho da serra, a creature that appeared during the dry season, attacking livestock and vanishing before sunrise. Most people laughed at the tale, but now no one was laughing. For weeks after the attack, the animals refused to go near the forest edge. Dogs barked at nothing, and every night the family swore they could hear distant growls echoing from the dark hills beyond the farm. To this day, no one knows what Ricardo and Lucas truly saw that night. Some say it was a malformed bear or a wild man living deep in the woods. Others believe it was something else entirely, a creature older than the forest itself. The farm still stands, but Ricardo left soon after. He never spoke of that night again. Lucas, now an adult, still remembers the eyes glowing yellow, staring through the dark. And in the rural silence of Goiás, when the wind is just right, locals say you can still hear the screams of the animals, and something else moving through the night.
The story could be a fake. Or not. Yes. Now it's up to you to decide if it's real or not. Leave your comments below, and I see you soon in the next episode. Good night.